Hi. Hello. Good afternoon. I think you enjoy your coffee. Okay, we are going to start um, this talk. Okay, I am Jorge Barroso. Okay, well, I am Jorge Barroso Carmona. I'm from Spain. For this reason, I have a really big name. It's common in Spain have four names. Okay, but you can call me Jorge or Jorge Barroso, or a lot of people call me Flipper. Okay, like the dolphin. Uh, okay, I'm working in Karumi. After that, I'm going to explain you what is Karumi. But I am working in Karumi, and right now I am developer because right now I'm working with a lot of technologies. I'm working with JavaScript, with Python, with Android, with Swift, with Kotlin, and I don't know why I am a developer. I am writing code. Okay, and I am GD at same as a lot of people, Android people here. Okay. And I am going to talk about Android patterns impacted with Kotlin. Okay, the name is not good. I don't like it because Android patterns, architecture patterns is more like server that how you organize your server side, your code, and it's not related with Android, and it's not related with that we are calling architecture. Okay, but I don't know. I was searching a name that to refer to that pattern that we use for write architecture and don't have any name, and I use it uh, architecture patterns, and it's going to be in Kotlin. Okay, this talk is going to be a lot of tips related with clean architecture, related to how implemented code, and how we can use Kotlin to improve this code. Okay, uh, you can send me any email, any question that you have, any pictures of your cat, anything that you find funny, you can send me to my email, jorge@karumi.com, and try to reply as soon as possible. If you check that I am replying you, please send me an email again. And this is my Twitter account. If you like to follow me, please follow in Twitter and not in the street because it's creepy. And we are going to start. I'm working in Karumi. Okay, Karumi is a small company, and we create software for third parties. For example, we create a lot. For example, some newspapers in UK, or we help people. We help company to improve the quality. We enter inside the teams, and we help to develop a better code. Okay, and improve the quality of the software testing, as well as we fix it bugs and create new features. For example, right now we are working with IBM Research in Zurich, and we are working there creating some amazing projects. Okay, and we give trainings as usual, the normal trainings that we go to the companies, check the code, and we give trainings about technology, about Swift, Kotlin, testing, architecture, about everything. Okay. This is more or less the team. I put this photo because the project or the slide that you are going to check is the work of a team, is the work of all the people, all of seniors and our full stack engineers. Okay, everybody knows two or three technologies, and this is important for us that people know JavaScript, Kotlin, backend, Swift, different approach. Okay, we're going to start. This talk is about this one. Okay, I don't know if you know Larry Wall. Larry Wall is the creator of Perl, and he has this quote that I like it. Computer languages differ not so much in what they make possible, but in what they make easy. Okay, we need to choose that language that make easy our work, not that resolve our work. Okay, you can do everything with any language. You can create an Android application in Swift or an Android application in Perl. Okay, but it's going to be difficult. And Kotlin comes to make easier or the work on day to day. Okay, and I'm going to try to explain some things that we are going to be make more easy. All code and more code that you can check is in this repo. Okay, you go to Karumi repo, superheroes Kotlin. You have an example of application, and this is the code that you are going to search. And you search Kotlin in our organization. You are going to check a lot of katas, a lot of development for testing, UI testing, screenshot testing, property-based testing, a lot of kind of testing katas using Kotlin. Okay, and And the application that we are going to show is this one, okay? It's a list of Marvel superheroes. They have a badge, it's for Avenger, and when you click one, open a description about the superhero. It's really easy. Okay, it's a really easy application, and it's covered for screenshot testing, and is there for you can use. It have some unit tests for the testing the repositories, but more or less it's all UI using an approach using UI testing with injection, okay, with mock injection. This application, and why we are going to make this one, okay? Why we are going to do this talk, or we're going to do start to using Kotlin for separate for create an architecture, okay? The most important is every time that we want to choose a technology, or choose a framework, or choose a library, or choose something in our code, a decision, a design pattern is the first one is make our code easy to read, okay? Our code will be really, really easy to read. We need to declare the intentions that we are doing in our software, okay? If somebody read my code, or if I need to write a comment in my code, this is that I am doing something bad, because I can replace that code for a method, introduce a method for get semantic, for write semantic code. This is really, really important. Think that the first thing that you need to, before performance, before anything, the first thing that you need to think it about it when you write code is be semantic, okay? Write testable code, okay? We are going to try to increase our testability with the code. We are using some frameworks, some creation frameworks, independence injection, because our code will be testable, and we are going to try to use Kotlin to make our code more testable. We want to remove boilerplate code, okay? That code that is all time repeating in all sections of all code. We are going to try to use some things in Kotlin and some things that come from architecture to move that code out of our applications. Okay, and easy to change and evolve. The code evolve, or applications evolve. We need to be easy, change one code, changes all dependencies, or changes or move from one part to the other, or make migrations, or make or extend our code. It's going to be easy, and it will be to be a pain change our code. And the last one, we are going to use Kotlin because Java have some problems that we can't resolve. Okay, have limitations, and we need to create crappy code to try to fix that limitations. Okay, and we are going to check some limitations in this talk, and we are going to look like Kotlin fix that. Okay, everybody knows this one. Some familiar for everybody. Okay, who knows clean architecture? Okay, more or less everybody. Okay, I don't need to explain clean architecture. Okay, we are going to base in this kind of clean architecture. Is a really common clean architecture process. We have the green part, the view stuff with a presenter, passive views to communicate it to the activities. We are going to have use cases with rich models, not many rich, but with models from the mind. And we are going to use repositories and data sources for access to the data cache and network. Okay, and we are going to choose that this code is going to be synchronous. Okay, only for easy, for make the thing easy. We are not using a lot of callbacks and callback hell and this kind of stuff. Okay, we are going to check how can make this one. Everybody knows clean. I'm going to talking about clean. I'm going to take problems that we have. Okay, if nobody knows clean, it's possible. How many people there knows Kotlin? Well, reads code about Kotlin. How many people write code in Kotlin? Okay, how many people is an expert in Kotlin? No, I'm not an expert. Okay, this talk is a lot of code about Kotlin and a lot of code about architecture. Okay, if you don't know nothing about Android or about clean architecture and about Kotlin, it's going to be a freak out. Okay. The first problem that we found when we are writing code with Android, clean architecture and Android. The first big problem is that the Android is based on inerrancy. Okay, you extend all framework using extension. Okay, activities you need to you must to extend from activities, fragments, service. Everything is based on extension, and you don't have a point for injection. You know, it's really difficult to write composition, and this is really difficult to write testable code. And for this reason, people have a really big base activities. Okay, it includes using clean architecture. Like for example, in the first talk, Matthias, so really well. You have a really big percentage. You have a really big activities because you are moving code to your base activities. Okay, and this is that we are going to using. We have a presenters. We have passive views. Okay, this view is not a view of Android. It's a passive view, and we are going to have activities. Okay, and we want to have something with this problem, okay? I have an activity, I have a base activity that implements the view, okay? This is the normal code that we are going to use. And the first thing that we can do is, the first one is make easier that errancy, okay? If you have to do this in Java, you need to have abstract method, and that abstract method create objects, and this is really ugly. One thing that we can use in Kotlin is compute properties. This is really good. You can have an abstract property in your root base, okay, and you can have implemented. And for example, if you check there, we have there a toolbar, and this is toolbar is come from the view, and we are going to app. If we are going to the base activity, you can check that these are not methods, are properties. Okay, we can have abstract properties to abstract methods. This is going to be really good. Okay, this is going to be easy because if you check, these methods are val. I don't know if you know in Kotlin, you have val and vars. Val are immutable objects. Okay, and the same we can override properties. Okay, in this case, we have a toolbar, and I say, okay, when you obtain a toolbar, when you like to obtain the toolbar, you are going to take the toolbar for the system. This toolbar is out-injected by Android. This is really good. Android Kotlin have a library for Android that out-injected views and that views, intents, and these kind of things, and it's really good. Okay, and we can do things that late in it. Okay. If you check, I don't know, you know something about Kotlin, but in Kotlin we have optionals that when you declare something that is not no optional, could be instantiated. And here I say, okay, this variable is going to be could be not. I going to set in the value. If this is not going to happen, it's going to break. The application is going to break. This is really good. Okay. If I try to invoke to add adapter and the adapter doesn't exist, the application is going to break. Okay. This is other thing that we secure. Okay. Kotlin is going to be a lot of secure code and remove a lot of boilerplate as we are checking nulls. Okay. And we start with the difficult part. Okay. If you check there, my base activity have a lifecycle publisher by lifecycle linker. Okay, and my presenter is a lifecycle subscriber. That is going to be really good. We are going to use a property of Kotlin that is delegation class. I can delegate it. I can say, okay, my base class is going to have something that is going to call lifecycle publisher, okay, and it's going to be provided for this class, for lifecycle linker. That I can do is I can change this lifecycle linker. I am delegated that code outside. In a lot of Android code, I must be this there. I got to write that lifecycle publisher in this code, okay? And in this case, I can move out, okay? For example, in this case, we have there two methods, update and onRegister, that are in the base activity, but they are not part of the base activity. The implementation of those methods are in lifecycle linker. This is really good because we are moving out code using delegation. And these classes are not going to grow. We can use this one for a lot of things. For example, sessions. That activities that must have a session to be opened, and if not, move out. We can have a delegation method and delegated the implementation to the other class. Or for example, in Rx, you have all that code that is provided by unsubscribe on, unsubscribe on and observe on. You can move on one of these delegated classes. Okay. That is happening there is when I call in unregister in my code, in my base activity, this is going to be called to my implementation, to lifecycle publisher implementation that is there, is that the implementation I do for that interface. Okay, lifecycle publisher is an interface, and lifecycle linker is an implementation of that interface. And there, I am unregistering, I am outdated and uncreated. I'm making that link between the presenter and the code. Okay, we move out logic from the activities, and we are going to have all activities cleaner. And in test time, I can change this implementation, this lifecycle publisher for a mock or for something, and I can test some scenarios. Big other problem: avoid memory leaks. Okay, this is really common. We was talking after the talk, or the first talk, or in his code, if you check it, it's normal, or in any other project, when you have a passive view, you have a reference in your presenter for the activity, you need to make the view null when you go out, okay? If we are there, when the activity has destroyed, I need to remove the view, because if this one leak, I am leaking the activity, and my memories grow up, and the application is going to crash, okay? And that most people do, or the normal make to do this one, is using checking null. Okay, if I go out activity, I notify to my presenter and put the view to null, and the memory is destroyed. And with Kotlin, we can fix it with that easy way. Okay, we can make this one. Okay, you check, we have a constructor there. This is constructor or presenter. In Kotlin, you can have arguments. Okay, for example, view is an argument of the class, of the constructor of the class, and the second one is a property of the class. Okay, but I can define. If you check this view, I can define this property like an optional that is going to be provided for the view for a week and this view, and this is going to be awesome because in the contract of my application, on the contract of my presenter, receive a view and say I'm going to receive a view, and this is not going to be optional. This must to be exist. But internally, I convert. I am going to create in a weird reference. Okay, when the father disappear, when this view disappear, the implementation, this view is going to be disappear, it's going to be an optional. Okay, and who can make this one? I'm going to use delegated. I'm going to use delegated properties. I'm going to create a delegated property that's convert this view in a weak view. Okay, when I make this one, okay, I'm going to create a function that is this week and say this is a function of t because it's any view that receive a value and return a weak reference. And it's creating a weak reference. And for this one, I create it there. Okay, and say, okay, this out is about the variance. Do you know what is variance and contravariance? Only have. In Java, you can do this one because you don't know the return type. But in Android, you can set the return type without in a generic. Okay, and we can create a class, and this is wrapping my view with a weak reference view. And I'm going to override, sorry. Okay, it's not in color. If you check there, okay, I'm going to, it's not there, I'm missing? Okay, well, it's not there. I'm going to override the function get. When I go to the view with the optional, it's going to call to the, weak reference. And if it's null, it's not, nothing happen. Okay, if the view is not null, is everything working, it's going to call. If the view is null, it's not called to solo adding. This is that, like that. I am not asking to my software is null or not. I am acting over. My code is easy to read and is working always. Okay, this is really good. Okay, and acting over, or we need to try acting always about our code and not asking about our code because it's easier to read and easy to modify. Okay. And this is I say, this view, I can make view because I am overridden. We read this one in deep, in another example, but we are overridden the getter, okay, the getter value, and this function is going to call when I call to the argument. When I call to view, it's going to call this one. And this is a where reference dot get and returning then an auction. That's cool, no? I'm writing a lot of code and removing a lot of boiler code that you are using in Android. We change we are rewriting the presenter code to make me easier to read. Next one, working with errors. Okay, we are we are working with errors is the big problem that we have always in Java, in Android, is we are all the time using exceptions, and we are throw exception. An exception is something that must be exceptional, not something that we are expected. If it's something that we are expected, we don't need to create an exception. An exception is going to break our path code. If I have a path code and made this one and this one and this one and this one and something crash, I break, and something could be in a inconsistent state, or something is going to jump because I am jumping, I am destroying the process. It's sometimes we make with some things, with things that are important in our code, okay? And the solution for this one is either monads, okay? Either monad is really difficult to write in Java, okay? It's not easy to write in Java an either monads or any kind of monads, because the language is not really, well, in Java 8 you can, in Java 9 it's possible, but it's really ugly, okay? What is a monad? How many people there know what is a monad? Okay, only one person, because it's a Swift, it is give the Swift talk, no? No, because it's a monad talk in the Swift, the previous one. Okay, this is easy, okay? A monad, the definition of a monad is easy. A monad is just a monoid in the category of end factors. This is an easy definition, okay? Now, okay, what this one, okay? Now, a monad is I'm going to explain, is functional guys could be hit me, but you imagine that you have a wrapper, okay? You are wrapping and you have two ways, okay? A map and flat map. You can convert one monad in other monad and you are wrapping something. We are going to view with the sample of the either monads, okay? Either monad have left and right, okay? The either monad is an object, okay? Thinking in monad like design patterns from types, okay? More or less. You have a monad, okay? You have a container that have a left value and a right value, but only can have one. It have a left value, don't have the right value. It have the right value, cannot have the left value, okay? And this is useful because we can have in the left an error and in the right a success. If the monad have an error, can have a success. If it have a success, don't can have an error. This is going to be used because all our code is going to return in either monads. We are going to throw exceptions, have different ways from errors and code. We are returning an object, and we are going to add over that object, okay? If you check my data source, this is the network data source, my function get of the data source is screen have return an either monad, okay? Returns an either monads with a domain error and superhero, okay? This is good because I am use two things. I'm going to create semantics for my errors because the domain errors are part of the domain, and I'm going to have my object there. And there I'm going to write this code, okay? And if a exception happens in my network in something, I'm going to write an either left. I'm going to create an error, and I'm going to map that exception in something, in a domain error, okay? Is this something same for you, for the people that are not calling? When you have a function like that is an assignation, I don't need to write the return. This value is going to be returned, okay? I'm going to return the either left. And if the code works well, I'm going to return the map response, okay? This is more called like magic code, okay? This part, this map response is going to call to this API call, and the response, okay? And the response is going to be passed to this map superhero, okay? It's like you need to, if you have a callback, where you have a lambda inside as an argument and only have one, you can put in with lines, okay? Well, you have one or two or whatever, you can put in lines, and it's easy to read, it's magic, okay? And I'm going to call to the map superhero with it. It may related to the value of the lambda. In this case, may related with the response to API get character. And this is really cool because I can do in API get character, I can do, but in the map response, I can create logic about errors or logic about success related with all my calls. For example, renew sessions, expire tokens, these kind of things I can do in this map response. And there in map superhero only map the values from the API with the values of the domain superhero. Okay, easy? Yeah. No? And in 5 lines we have all about our bugs. Okay, or sorry, all about our call to the API. This is really cool. And I am going to return this header monads. And one thing I can do, I say we can make maps. In any place, I can change my domain error for a UI error, or my domain or my superhero to other collection, because a monad could be converted to the same monad with different types, for example. And this is really, really good and really powerful. And here, here is the data source, return an header monads, okay, and the repository return an header monads, and the superhero invokes header monads, okay, and that monad is going to arrive to the presenter. I'm going to make the introspection. I'm going to read in that part that is important for me. And this is important. Don't break the change. You can modify your values. You can modify the types, but try to return always a monad. This is the way when people that's working with Java, that you are always returning an observables of the values, think it is the same, okay? And what's happened with this monad, okay, that will get superhero, in the guys thing that they don't want to read, okay, that the get superheroes return a monad, okay? Return the header monad, and the result is going to take by this result value. And we are going to use when. When is thinking is a switch on steroids. It's a switch that may do a lot of things. And one thing I can do is I can make introspection of my object and I say, okay, if you are right or you are left, either monad have right class and eight class that are as interfaces. If you are right or you are left, you are going to do one thing and other thing. And this is really awesome because he knows the type of this one. He creates smart casting. And in this code of there, in the BU show error, he knows that this is a left value and give me access to the left. Again, I am not asking to my software. I am asking over the software. Okay, I don't have if blah, 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 if blah, 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 if blah, 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 blah. Okay, I am calling to the things. And this is going to call to the show error. Okay. I implement the show error in base activity, but I can move, if this grow, I can move to a delegate class, okay? But in this case, I have in my base activity. And I have a method, a show error method that is the same an error domain error, and call to the snack bar and convert the error as a string and receive the context. And sometimes say, hey, Jorge, you are breaking the domain, the clean architecture that say the domain object can be anything about representation. You are breaking the rules. I say, no. I am using extension functions. Okay, like I doing there. Oh, this is breaking. Here I'm breaking the rule, but I'm there is using an extension method. In my UI, in my layer UI, I'm saying, okay, domain error. I'm going to create only for UI an extension method, this called as a string, grab receive a context, return the context gets a string for the message. And the message and that I'm using is this method that is a when that returning an int. But this one is really, really, really peculiar. This one is really, really fun because if I remove this line, if I remove now domain error, he's giving a compiler error. He say this function is not complete. You are not contemplated, or you are not having code for this case, and this is secure code. I'm writing secure code. Every time that I add an error, I need to come here and add a new message for this error. And this is really good because forced to everybody, we need to try to make that the compiler give errors instead to write tests. The other direction is I write tests, but if I have a compiler error, I don't need to write the test, okay? And why this happened? This happened because I am using sealed classes. Okay, there is a sealed class. This is the main error. This sealed, this say I'm going to have there a file. It's all errors that I have. Okay, and this is going to be all of them. No internet domain error, or no domain error, no index for domain error, out domain error. This is the all error that my application have. If I like to add a new one, I go there, I create a new error, and the application is going to crash because I am not contemplated, I don't contemplate it in the error to message. Okay, this is secure. This is good. You can make this one in Java. Okay, you can make with generating code, with annotations, something like that, but it's not good. Okay, and we are using this powerful tool to change how that matter patterns, the math patterns works. Okay, to increase the code and the easy code. Make code more reliable. Kotlin is giving us some things to giving the code more reliable. Okay, for example, improving the command pattern. Okay, in interactors, use cases, in Java or in Kotlin or in any language in clean architecture is always implemented with command pattern. Okay, that command pattern could be with rex or could be with execute method. Okay, and in this way, that we are going to do is make this one. You be here. I have a class, get superhero. There's a get superhero and a method that's called get superhero. This is an object or this is a method? How many people there that this is a method? Nobody? How many people there think that this is an object? Nobody. What is? What is the people that you don't have arms, you don't have any kind of an opinion. Okay? This is a class. Okay? This is an object. But that we are doing is using an operator, okay? We are an override operator. Do you remember that we override the getter operator to obtain directly to the view? But there we are overwriting the parentheses method, the invocation method. When I invoke to a class, this is going to be a happen. This is really cool. This is awesome because in one line I can re-implement it, the command pattern. Okay, and we can improve the domain models too. It's really common in the Kotlin projects have only one file with all models of your domain. Like for example, in the errors, have all errors in the same file because it's one-liner. For example, this is my model. My model from superheroes is this one. No more lines of code, because in the definition of the class you have the constructor. You have, for example, this null is your default values, and if you say that this is a data class, you have equals to a string hash code implemented for you, and with getters and setters. This is awesome, okay? And if you need to change a setter or getter, you can. Do you remember in the toolbar we write get and overwriting the get, but we can do the same for one of these properties. That's really, really cool. Okay. Co-regression problems. It's missing two things, two difficult ones, okay? Remember, we're talking about the concurrency. People is using Java, that's complex things, that sometimes we are using Java for make one call to the API, and this is not normal, okay? We can do things. Right now is a really good talk about coroutines, but it's in Ukrainian. I don't understand nothing, but looks well about talking about the coroutines. Okay, coroutines comes to change everything. Okay, to change a lot of pages code. And there, for example, that we are using a framework, async away framework to write code. In this one, we have a method. It's a refresh superhero that is async. That is happening. We are saying into our code, okay, in this block, we are going to execute it on async code. It's going to be an async call. That what is going to happen is everything that is between the brackets in the await is going to be called, and it's going to be a wait that this part of the code finishes. After that part of the code finishes, the result, in this case, another monad, is going to be in the result. And right now, code continue and execute. Yeah, this is the all work they need to do for have concurrency in my objects using a Zika way. It's cool, no? It's not difficult. Okay, if you want to make something like map, merge, something like white is this one. This one I'm going to make 2 calls. Async away is not ready too, but with coroutines is some other framework that is working really well for make that. Okay, but for normal calls, this is awesome. Okay, dependency injection. When we are talking about the dependency injection in Kotlin, a lot of people continue to use Dagger 2. Okay, Dagger 2 is really powerful. But the problem with the Dagger 2 is that really difficult to work with that. Okay, because you need to be generating a lot of code. You need to understand. You need to understand components. You need to understand the scope. You need to understand inject. And the benefit that you have is that 2 benefits. It's going to fail in construction, and the other one is going to be faster in execution. But in Android, that you only have 1 graph, but wake up in the startup, the execution time is no problem. It's possible that the compiling errors is good, but not that good. Okay, and for this reason, people is using other approach in Kotlin, like Coin or Codeine. We are using Codeine, and it's really good. Okay, have things that I don't like it about Codeine. Okay, but it's more or less good. Like that, using delegated properties to take a value. Okay, in this case, you request to the injector a version of the superhero presenter, and what to do there? You have a module. Okay, we have a module. This is allows an override. Is for can override the graph in testing time. Okay, and that we are doing is we are binding for this superhero presenter. We are going to give this instance a super zero. This instance is going to search a binder for this kind of class. In this case, the get superheroes is going to be provided for this one. And this instance, that is the repository, is going to be provided from the application model. Okay, easy. And this is everything that you need to write from have coding working. It's really easy to work because the problems that they have that create the graph in compilation time. It could be could be some check in compilation time, but here I'm doing in runtime. But it's easy, really easy to write in dependency injection with Codeine you have in an afternoon. It's really easy, and you don't need to understand some complex things that you have in Dagger 2. Okay, and Dagger 2 with Kotlin right now is more stable, but in the past it's not good enough. Okay, I have more things. I need to remove a lot of things from the presentation because I'm passing the time, but it's a lot of things that you can use and it's really helpful. The parent constructor, and you stop to use builders. The how to use a function. Okay, if you go to the repository implementation, I'm using for each, I'm using first, I'm using let, and using a lot of things that my code, every piece of my code, I think so the class that have more code is 20, 30 lines of code. It's really small. I think so the test class, it could be the bigger. Okay. I write there some bibliography, okay, some books. I recommend Clean Code. Okay, please don't buy a Clean Architecture book, the new one from Akebob, because it's really bad. I recommend you the book from Antonio Leiva, calling from Android developers. We have a lot of in the blog of Karumi. We have a lot of code writing in Kotlin. You can reply, open issues, sample requests are welcome. And Codeine functionale Mario Arias is really good repository when you have a lot of implementations about monads, okay, and lenses, and the sync away library, okay. And that's all. I don't know if you have questions, but thank you, and think so it's useful for you.
Hi, my name is Siri. You previously showed that you make not link. You provide a view to presenter, and it's val. It's seen it as a value, and if view is recreated, what we will do, because we couldn't make a new link to this view in presenter. What we should do? Recreate presenter too?
Yeah, this is the same question that make to the presenters. That we are doing is we are doing two things. Okay, is any layer is responsible to store his information. If I have information in the presenter that may be stored, that is in our case never. Okay, I store in the present. I store when activity finishes. So to the presenter, store this information, store it, and read again. But for example, for network calls, for data cache, for all that stuff that we are doing this is responsibility of the data layer. For example, I had the phone, I turn the phone recreated, and tune in again. When those two calls go to the data source say, okay, I have one call with this argument. I'm going to remove, or I'm going to replace the previous one for this one, and it plus the callback. And this is everything that we do. For example, when we move in, if you execute application, when you go back and go enter and you return, that is happening is he called to the cache and return information from the cache, and never call to the network more times than one. Okay, we move that work that the people moving on the views, we are moving to the repositories and the data sources. Okay, because it's responsibility of the data sources or repository knows that if one call or two calls or what's happening is not because could be for a turn on, turn off, but could be for a notification or for a chat or for something. Okay. More questions? No? Nobody understand anything? My English is bad, but okay. Okay, somebody like to check everything? I don't know. Okay, I don't show you everything, but for example, I go there. This is other project. Okay, I got to show you, for example, the data sources, okay, that I removed from the slides. Everybody looks the font well? Yeah? At the end, does it look well? One second. Repository, sorry. Okay, for example, this is my superhero repository, and this is the code that make that. This, for example, this line of code, when I'm going to increase the font. Okay, if you check there, this is get my name, the nader with a superhero. If in this line, I take the first that is updated. Okay, I have the data sources that are network and cache, and say, okay, from all data sources that I have, take the first that is updated and that contains this key, and return me that key. And this line is going to go to the cache, check in the cache, the info they have is updated, go to the network, map the information to the network, and return, and that happen. And if something goes bad, this is going to be returned either with an error, and there nothing happens. Say, okay, this is an error. I move. This is not for me. And the same, similar with the all superheroes. There, I take them from the first. I take this updated and get all, and I say, okay, is okay? Okay, I am not asking. I'm acting over the right. Okay, is okay? Take this let is for unwrap the value. Take the value as a list and store this information in all data sources. easy, no? This functional way to program is really easy to read. Something like that. For the first time, if you don't understand this let, you can move inside a class. For example, we have in a company that the people doesn't understand either really more, but we create an alias that we change the name of either for result, and people understand. This is the result of the operation. Good. Okay. And cool things on this one, and got this finish. For example, the repository tests. Where is it? There. One thing that you can do easy in Kotlin is this one. You don't need to. You can have brackets. We can have this answer, these symbols, and you can write the test there in these kind of things that is easy to read. Okay, this is our test, and you can use mock. You can let it variance. You can use arguments for the companion objects. There's a lot of things that make your life easier and happy. Okay. And that's all. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to be there. If somebody have a deep question, I'll be asking. Thank you.